I had a wonderful time at the annual church picnic. That was my first time ever going after living in this town for 15 years. Such is the life of a hermit. And um, when I reflect on my internet experience, I did intensive Qigong meditation to finish my master's degree through the African Studies Department as non-Western philosophy. And then I began posting on um, the internet, looking for advice to help my training further, and realizing that people couldn't really understand what I was experiencing, or um, and so I just tried to figure things out on my own using science to reverse engineer my experiences, and this led me to noncommutative quantum algebra as non-locality, which again, very few people know about or understand. So after posting on the internet for 25 years, I'm actually kind of pleased with the results. I mean, there's probably been a handful of people that have taken up Qigong meditation seriously based on my promotion of it constantly online, which I have not been doing as much lately. Um, and I think the Qigong revolution that was referred to in the 1980s in China obviously got repressed by the regime, the communist regime, um, in the late 1990s when I started to practice it. And then the westernization of the world has accelerated the ecological crisis, which was kind of what got me into Qigong originally. So I've integrated our ecological crisis with music and philosophy, and that's based on this non-commutative science worldview. And so it's very difficult for people to even like just conceptualize what I've been talking about, much less actually practice it. So I've actually been pleased. There's been a handful of people. I think the fellow who visited me, I'm pretty sure he went to Burma and became a monk in Burma soon after he visited me. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what the evidence leads me to believe. And he had gone to China previously and um, s- saw um, Qigong master Jiang Fang do pyrokinesis, and Qigong master Chen Yinlin's own teacher at Shaolin also demonstrated pyrokinesis. So this is a level of reality that's still not acknowledged by the whole mixed martial arts scene with the Joe Rogan um, podcast scene, or whatever, the broadcast or whatever it is. So I feel like I'm still in this secret, an open secret, because I will be on podcasts like I was recently on the Mark Palmer podcast, but he's doing the conspiracy scene that I've critiqued a lot from the perspective of conspiracy analysis, because I started getting into conspiracy research around 1996. So it's like 30 years ago. Actually, it was early 90s when I learned about the Bohemian Grove in like 93. Um, so anyway, uh, yeah, and so then I read the Stargate conspiracy, which really exposed that the whole new age scene is also a whole nother level of CIA conspiracy. So people get into conspiracies without realizing they're just promoting Freemasonry and the new age and whatever, and they think they're being alternative and and this has been going on ever since Operation Chaos with the CIA and COINTELPRO with the FBI working together. Um, so anyway, uh, what was it? I watched a recent 5-hour documentary on 9/11, which is coming up again pretty soon, and it was very fascinating about the FBI and the CIA both having assets and informants in the radical um, Arab community and how that led to confusion and backlash and triple agents and 9/11, and that, the CIA was involved in drug smuggling along with their, um, attempt to undermine the Soviet Union and everything, and so it's a big mess, what I've called imperial implosion. I dubbed it imperial implosion in 1996, and so obviously that's what we're going through now with the rise of fascism that Noam Chomsky predicted, like, I don't know, 20 years ago. So these are difficult times, but we can always rely on meditation because that's our natural sleep is natural meditation, and the lunar cycle is natural meditation. And so the earth, the sun, and the moon will always be here, even though they might get filled by radiation and all of complex life might get wiped out. It's called biological annihilation. And unfortunately, if you really analyze the environmental evidence, you realize that the crisis is much worse than people know about. And so, yeah, most people can't psychologically even um, want, be able to listen to the basic information. And most people are, I mean, as soon as people wake up, they turn on the corporate state indoctrination on some level. They turn on the radio or the TV or the internet, the whatever algorithms they're getting. So, and I never used Facebook because I knew right away it was a scam, like the whole friend thing. Because I in non-dualism, H or Punjaji, his big thing was he had no friends. I have no friends because because of non-dualism, there's no ego as self. So there's no you and others. There's just this impersonal force that what they call it Shakti or Yana, the knowledge that is both inside and outside everybody at the same time. So how can you have friends when you don't have your own, like, your own self doesn't exist as a and on a true level. And so that's not a concept that the West is willing to admit to because it's has like deep implications for what it means to be human. So we rely on science to reverse engineer our reality, and that is our religion currently, and it is very fascinating. I mean, I'm not, I'm enthralled by science and what it discovers. There was a recent study released on the primates having the ability to walk is based on a genetic change that occurs 7 weeks into the embryo, where the pelvis shifts 90 degrees to hold the body upright for walking. And this happened, like, I don't know, like 3.5 million years ago. It started to happen in humans and early primates. And so once that happened, then that that's what became humans from that genetic shift to walk upright 300 3.5 million years ago, versus hominids, other hominids that are walking, primates, but they're not walking upright. So, and then they've also figured out that our brain size is directly tied to the size of our thumbs, because that grasping for fruit in the trees, increased our brain size, and that that's what Michael Carbalis first figured that out, that our ability to speak is directly tied to our use of our right hand for technology, because we're no longer using our hands to gesture, since we're using a hand for tool use and harvesting fruit or whatever. So anyway, I mean, we'll just keep on doing our science and keep on destroying the environment, and it'll kind of like invert internally and reverse back into non-locality as biological annihilation, and um, keep on meditating and try to ride the wave, so to speak. And so I just wanted to put a thank you out to the internet community for the feedback that I've had. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for your positive feedback the other day. I appreciate that. And I will sign out.